Hi, this is Disney Drew, and today I want to talk about Gertie the dinosaur. If you've ever been to Disney's Hollywood Studios, the lake that's there near the beginning, it's called Echo Lake, and on that lake, there's a big, giant green dinosaur. It's actually an ice cream shop called Dinosaur Gertie's Ice Cream of Extinction. I never really gave it much thought until about a week ago, somebody posted to Instagram a picture of Dinosaur Gertie and the ice cream shop with a caption that said something like, "Do you know the backstory of this dinosaur?" And I didn't at all, and it sent me down this path of discovery about this cool dinosaur and the story behind it. So the story is this. Dinosaur Gertie comes from a famous animated film that was released in 1914. Now, you might think that an animated film being celebrated at a Disney theme park would be a Disney animated film. But it's not. It was actually created by the artist Winsor McCay. Winsor McCay is this incredible cartoonist and artist who had a long-running comic strip in newspapers in the early 1900s, the most famous of which was probably Little Nemo and Slumberland. I personally became aware of Little Nemo and Slumberland and Winsor McCay in general pretty recently, a few years ago, when a friend of mine pointed out that my all-time favorite children's book, which is In the Night Kitchen by Maurice Sendak. I love this book so much. It's always the book I pick at story time with my son. In the Night Kitchen by Maurice Sendak is directly influenced by Winsor McCay's Little Nemo and Slumberland. In fact, Sendak has said that In the Night Kitchen is his tribute to Winsor McCay and his famous comic strip. So back to Gertie. Gertie the dinosaur was released in 1914, drawn and animated by Winsor McCay. And instead of just being a film that was shown in theaters, it was actually part of a vaudeville type act where Winsor McCay himself would stand up on a stage with his short film Gertie the Trained Dinosaur projected next to him, and he would direct the dinosaur to do things like lift up your left foot, Gertie, or take a bow, Gertie. And the big finale of the presentation was when McCay walked behind a screen and then appeared in the animated film itself, where Gertie the dinosaur lifted McCay up, the animated McCay up onto her back, and gave him a ride off the edge of the screen. Walt Disney, who was young at the time, I think he was 12 years old when Gertie the dinosaur was first released. It had a huge influence on him. He loved it. Many years later, Walt Disney recreated the original vaudeville performance on his TV show called Walt Disney's Disneyland. If you ask me, this is the best way to watch Gertie the dinosaur. You can watch the original version, but it's silent and it's not nearly as interesting as the version that Walt recreated because you get to experience what the original stage performance looked like. Another cool thing about Gertie the statue at Disney's Hollywood Studios and the ice cream shop inside the dinosaur is that it's a tribute to a specific style of architecture that used to be popular in California called novelty architecture, or sometimes called California crazy architecture. I'm sure you've seen examples of this in pictures or movies. Randy's Donuts, which is the famous donut shop in LA that has the giant donut on top of its building, the Brown Derby in Hollywood, the Pup Cafe, which was shaped like a dog, the Hoot Hoot ice cream shop that was shaped like a big hooting owl. You can Google California crazy architecture or novelty architecture to see other examples, but the whole purpose of them was as urban landscapes were growing, California was sort of the epicenter of American car culture. So no longer did you have all of your foot traffic literally on foot walking by. You had people in cars whizzing by your businesses, and many of the business owners felt that they needed something eye-catching other than just a sign on the building to entice people to come in and visit. And so this style of architecture exploded in California, even though it became popular other places as well. So that's the story of Gertie the dinosaur at Disney's Hollywood Studios, located on Echo Lake and housing the ice cream shop Gertie's Ice Cream of Extinction. So I hope you learned something. I definitely did, reading more about Gertie and the cool history behind this structure at Disney's Hollywood Studios. As always, you can check out Disney Drew to You on Instagram, on Twitter, and if you'd like to support what I'm doing here, on Patreon. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.